The notification popped up on my phone, as sudden as a jolt. Watch now, Lily Chen's dream engagement. My sister's smiling face appeared on the live stream thumbnail, framed by champagne and roses. I almost skipped it, but something made my thumb hesitate mid-swipe. I'm Autumn, and for the last 10 years, I've been growing my event planning business while watching my baby sister, Lily, effortlessly gather praise for just being herself. Now, there she was, showcasing her latest victory to the world. Derek and I are so overwhelmed by all the love. Lily's voice chimed through my phone, her head tilting just enough to make her diamond earrings sparkle. And, of course, we owe it all to Mommy and Daddy for agreeing to host the most amazing wedding Silicon Valley's ever seen. I set my coffee down as I watched her outline plans fit for royalty, 1,000 guests, customized everything, 3 lavish celebrations over an entire week. The comments flooded with heart emojis and congratulations. We've already chosen the perfect wedding planner, Lily continued, and I felt a knot in my stomach. The incredible Maya Winchester has agreed to oversee it all. The phone slipped from my hand, clattering onto the desk. Maya Winchester, Derek's mother, my direct rival. Hey, boss, everything okay? Sophia poked her head into my office. You look like you've seen a ghost. Just my sister announcing her engagement. I forced a smile, and, of course, wrecking my professional reputation in the process. Sophia's eyes widened as she looked at the stream. Maya Winchester? But your parents know you're one of the top planners. Why would they? Because it's Lily, I said, bitterness in my voice. And Lily always gets whatever she wants. Another buzz. A text from my mother. Family dinner tonight. Non-negotiable. Your sister has news. You're not actually going, are you? Sophia asked, reading over my shoulder. I started grabbing my things. Of course I am. I've spent years playing the dutiful daughter, showing up when I'm called, smiling through endless comparisons. But maybe it's time to change that. Autumn, Sophia warned. Don't worry, I said, throwing on my jacket. I'm just going to congratulate my dear sister and ask a few innocent questions about her choice of wedding planner. The last time you used that tone, we lost 3 big clients, and 5 better ones came in. I glanced at myself in the window, straightening my expression to something that looked sisterly enough. Sometimes you have to break things to fix them. Another buzz. Lily again, big sis. Can't wait to see you tonight. I have the most amazing favor to ask. Of course, she did. That was always the way, Lily asks. And everyone jumps. Well, not this time. I'd spent years watching her take everything while I built my success from scratch. Now, she was trying to take my reputation too. Cancel my appointments for tomorrow, I told Sophia. I have a feeling tonight's dinner will require some recovery time. Please don't do anything rash, Sophia called after me as I walked out. I paused, hand on the doorframe. Rash would be letting them walk all over me again. This time, I'm doing things differently. The elevator doors closed, leaving Sophia's worried face behind as I descended to the garage. I pulled up Maya Winchester's website on my phone. Time to learn about my sister's new wedding planner. After all, families should know everything about each other, right? A small, almost smile crossed my lips. Tonight was going to be interesting, and maybe, just maybe, it would be the last time anyone underestimated Autumn Chen. The Chen family home stood before me, sleek and modern, with floor-to-ceiling windows showing the family already gathered, Mom arranging flowers, Dad checking his watch, Lily holding court on the sofa. Derek was beside her, his arm draped over her shoulder. I straightened my blazer and rang the doorbell. Lily answered almost instantly, pulling me into a tight hug that reeked of expensive perfume. Finally, she said, practically dragging me inside. I'd been dying to tell you everything in person. I saw the live stream, I said, pulling away. Congratulations. Oh, that was just the pre-announcement. Wait until you hear the rest. She tucked me past our mother's forced smile and our father's distracted nod. Derek stood to greet me, flashing a perfect smile. Autumn, always a pleasure. I hear your event planning business is going well. Well enough, I said, accepting the wine my mother handed me, though it wasn't quite up to Maya Winchester's level. Apparently, Lily's smile faltered. About that. I hope you understand. Maya has so many connections, and with Derek being her son, of course. I sipped my wine. Family first, right? Dad cleared his throat. Speaking of family, your sister has some exciting news about the wedding budget. Daddy's being so generous, Lily gushed, but we still need a tiny favor from you, sis. There it was. I set my glass down carefully. What kind of favor? Lily exchanged a glance with Derek. We know you have connections with luxury vendors. If you could help introduce us and maybe get some family discounts for Maya's event. The words felt sour. It would mean a lot, Derek added smoothly, and, of course, we'd give you credit in all the press coverage. Mom touched my arm. Your sister just wants to include you, dear, isn't that sweet? I glanced around the room, taking in Lily's practiced innocence, Derek's calculating smile, and our parents' expectant gazes. A flood of memories surged through me, Lily's dance recitals while I worked part-time, her extravagant graduation party that drained my college savings, every Christmas where her pile of gifts towered over mine. Actually, I said, breaking the silence, I have some news as well. I pulled out my phone and pulled up an article I had found earlier. Did you know that Maya Winchester's company is under investigation for financial misconduct? Derek's grip on Lily's shoulder tightened, and our father frowned deeply. That's just rumors, Derek replied quickly, nothing concrete. According to this, I scrolled down, several high-profile clients have filed complaints about misappropriated funds. Autumn, Mother interrupted sharply, her voice laced with disapproval. This is hardly the right time or place for such things. No, I scrolled further. What about the lawsuit from last year, the one that was quietly settled out of court? Lily's radiant smile faded. Why are you doing this? She asked, her voice faltering. Doing what? I asked, feigning innocence. I thought we were just sharing important family news. I turned to Derek. Speaking of news, how's the audit of your trust fund going? He stood up abruptly. I think it's time for us to leave. But we haven't even had dinner yet, Mother protested, her voice strained. Another time, Derek said, practically dragging Lily to her feet. Thank you for having us. They rushed out, leaving a quiet tension behind. Father's face darkened, and he turned to me. What exactly do you think you're doing? Protecting the family's reputation, I said, standing up and gathering my things, since no one else seems to care about it. By attacking your sister's future mother-in-law? By ruining her special moment? I let out a sharp, hollow laugh. Her special moment? When has anything in this family not been about Lily? Enough, Mother's voice cracked, sharp and final. If you can't be supportive, maybe you shouldn't be involved in the wedding at all. Don't worry, I said, heading toward the door. I won't be. Autumn, Father's voice stopped me just before I left. If you walk out now, there will be consequences. I turned back once more, looking at the house, my parents, the life I never quite fit into. There already have been, I said, opening the door, but now it's my turn to decide what they'll be. The door clicked shut behind me, and my phone buzzed, a text from Lily. How dare you embarrass me like that? You've ruined everything. I smiled to myself in the quiet darkness. No, little sister, I whispered to the empty space around me. I'm just getting started. The charity gala buzzed with the elite of Silicon Valley, but my focus was locked on the security footage playing on my tablet. In grainy black and white, there was Lily slipping into my office after hours, with Derek standing guard outside. The timestamp read 2 a.m., 3 days ago. You need to see this, I told Sophia, sliding the tablet across the table. She watched it, her expression hardening. That explains the missing client files, but why would they? Autumn, Lily's voice cut through the crowd. She glided toward us, dressed in designer silk, Derek trailing behind. I didn't expect to see you here. Funny, I replied, keeping my voice casual. I was about to say the same thing. This is my event, after all. Derek's smile grew tight. Maya suggested we attend. Networking, of course. I gestured to the tablet. Speaking of business, I'd love to get your thoughts on my new security system. Lily's champagne glass wobbled slightly. That's interesting, but we need to discuss the wedding. There's been a minor issue with the venue. The Four Seasons has backed out. Derek added, something about a double booking. I kept my face neutral. How unfortunate, especially since I spoke with their events director this morning, and she mentioned something about payment issues. That's ridiculous, Lily snapped. Daddy handled all the deposits. Did he? I pulled out my phone, because according to these transfer records, the funds came from my company's client trust account. Derek's face drained of color. Lily clutched his arm. There must be some mistake, she said quickly. Why don't we talk about this privately? Let's, I said, standing up and nodding to Sophia. The security office should be nice and quiet. They followed me through the service corridors to a small room lined with monitors. I locked the door behind us. Start talking, I said, coldly, and make it convincing. It's not what you think, Derek started, but Lily cut him off. We needed emergency funds, she blurted out. Maya's company is in trouble, Derek's trust fund is frozen, and the wedding deposits. So you stole from me? The words cut through the room like glass. Your own sister borrowed. Lily's eyes filled with tears. We were going to pay it back before anyone noticed. But then you started investigating, and now everything's falling apart. Derek stepped forward. We can fix this. Maya has connections, I interrupted. Maya has nothing, I said, except mounting lawsuits and a reputation on the brink of implosion. Want to guess who sent those anonymous tips to her investors? Lily's face went pale with realization. You wouldn't. I unlocked the door. You have 24 hours to return every penny. After that, I start making calls. To who? Derek's voice had lost its usual smoothness. The police. Worse, I smiled. The press. I wonder how many society weddings Maya will be booking once it's out that she's been cooking the books. Lily grabbed my arm, pleading, please, you can't do this, Mom and Dad. We'll finally see who you really are. We already are, I said, pulling my arm free. Tick-tock, little sister. They rushed out, the scent of desperation and expensive perfume lingering in the air. Sophia appeared in the doorway, watching them go. That was cold, she said softly. No, I said, my eyes following Lily and Derek as they hurried through the gala, their faces tight with panic. Cold was stealing from family, cold was choosing Maya over me. I closed the security footage window, a sense of calm settling over me. This is just business, I muttered. My phone buzzed, a text from Dad, your sister's crying. What have you done now? Another buzz followed, this time from Mom, family meeting tomorrow, non-negotiable. I showed Sophia the messages. Think they'll try to guilt me into backing down? And you'll say. I looked at her, my voice steady. I'll say it's time for them to choose which daughter they're really willing to lose. Sophia's hand rested on my shoulder. Are you sure about this? Once you go down this path. They started this path, I replied, my eyes fixed on Lily and Derek disappearing into the crowd. I'm just making sure they reach the end of it. My phone buzzed again, a new email from Maya Winchester herself. We should talk privately. I couldn't help but smile, thinking back to the files I'd uncovered during my late-night research. Oh, we definitely should, I murmured. Below, the gala buzzed with laughter, champagne, and music, but upstairs, in the quiet of the security office, I began drafting an email that would set everything in motion. Revenge doesn't always need a loud, dramatic display. Sometimes, it's about patience, precision, and the perfect moment to set the first piece in motion. Maya's office felt like a cage, polished surfaces, sharp angles, and calculated shadows. She sat behind her glass desk, completely composed, while I stood, watching her. 3 clients canceled this morning, I said, dropping their termination letters onto her desk. Interesting timing, Maya said, her smile never quite reaching her eyes. The market's volatile, as you know. I heard your sister's venue fell through too. Shame. Cut the act, I snapped. We both know what's going on. Do we? She leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. From where I sit, I see a jealous sister trying to sabotage a wedding. How do you think that'll play in the press? My phone buzzed, another cancellation, then another. The screen lit up with notifications until I silenced it. Impressive reach, I said, but you missed something in your background check. I don't scare easily, Maya replied, her tone cold. No, I said, pulling out my phone and showing her an email from Ethan. His regards, Ethan. Her eyes narrowed. That hacker? Who you destroyed 3 years ago, I said. He's been collecting evidence ever since, waiting for the perfect moment. The door opened, and Sophia walked in with Ethan, both carrying laptops. The transfers are all here, Ethan said, setting up his screen. Every penny you stole, every client you defrauded, even your own son. Maya's hand shook as she reached for her phone. Security won't come, Sophia interrupted. They're busy with the federal agents in the lobby. You're bluffing. I smiled. Check your accounts. She did. The color drained from her face as she scrolled through her phone. This is impossible. How did you? The same way you've been destroying my business, one call at a time. I moved closer, my voice low. But here's the difference. I'm not here to destroy you. I'm here to make a deal. What kind of deal? You back off completely. Let Lily and Derek's house of cards come crumbling down on its own. In exchange, this evidence stays buried. And if I refuse? Then tomorrow's headlines write themselves. Society wedding planner arrested in massive fraud scheme. Your choice. The silence stretched between us. Finally, Maya sank back into her chair, defeated. What do you want? Everything you have on Lily and Derek's finances, and your resignation from the wedding. They'll never forgive you for this. They never forgave me for existing, I said, gathering my things. You have an hour to decide. After that, Ethan's evidence goes public. Outside the office, Sophia grabbed my arm. That was risky. If she calls your bluff. She won't, I said, watching through the glass as Maya frantically worked her phone. Because it's not a bluff, Ethan added, nodding. The feds are already on the offshore accounts. They just needed confirmation she was in the office. My phone buzzed again, another text from Lily. Maya just quit. What did you do? Another from Derek. We need to talk now. And from Dad, your mother's in tears. Come home immediately. I showed Sophia the messages. Phase 1 complete. And Phase 2, through the glass. I watched Maya crumble as her empire started to collapse. Now we just let them tear each other apart, trying to save themselves. Autumn, Sophia hesitated. Are you sure you want to see this through? Once they start falling, they'll all go down together. I turned away from Maya's office. That's the point. The elevator doors closed, muffling Maya's sobs. My phone buzzed with more messages, but I didn't answer any of them. Sometimes, revenge isn't about what you do, it's about what you set in motion, and then stepping back to watch it unfold. The bridal shower invitation sat on my desk like a loaded weapon, Lily's flawless handwriting, Mother's mansion as the venue, tomorrow's date, a last-minute addition to the wedding festivities arranged after 3 other venues mysteriously cancelled. My phone lit up with a message from Ethan. Derek just tried to access his trust fund again, denied. I forwarded the screenshot to Maya, adding only, tick-tock. The reply came instantly, you're destroying my son. You did that yourself. I quickly typed my response and switched off my phone. The door to my office burst open, and Sophia rushed in, her face flushed. Lily's here. I stood up as Lily entered, her designer handbag held tightly in front of her like a shield. What did you say to Maya? Lily's voice trembled. Derek can't access any of his accounts. The caterer cancelled, and half the guest list is backing out. Sounds like a lot of stress, I said calmly. Maybe it's time to think about postponing. Postpone? Lily slammed her hands down on my desk, her voice rising. This is all your fault, isn't it? You're sabotaging everything because you're jealous. Jealous? I pulled out a file I'd been compiling. Or maybe I'm tired of cleaning up your messes, like these credit card charges to my business account. Lily's face drained of color. I can explain. Save it, I said, sliding another document in front of her. Or perhaps we should talk about the loans you took out in my name? You don't understand, she whispered. Derek's trust fund was supposed to clear. Maya promised. Maya's broke. I let the words sink in. Her business is failing. Derek's inheritance is gone, and you're all buried in debt. Tears welled in Lily's eyes. Please, you have to help me. If Mom and Dad find out. Find out what? A new voice interrupted. Our father stood in the doorway, with Mom at his side. Lily spun around, panic on her face. Daddy, I was just showing me the bridal shower plans? I finished smoothly, watching her sag with relief. Dad stepped forward, his face stern. Actually, we're here about the vendors. Mom pulled out her phone and showed us a series of emails, my emails, detailing how I'd systematically undermined Lily's wedding plans. Explain yourself, Dad demanded. I leaned back in my chair, maintaining my composure. Why don't you ask Lily about the money she stole first? That's different, Lily protested. I was desperate. Desperate enough to commit fraud? Mom gasped, while Dad's expression darkened. What fraud? I slid the file closer to them. See for yourselves. Every transaction, every forged signature, every lie. You promised you wouldn't tell, Lily screamed. Like you promised to pay it back? I stood up. Like Maya promised you the perfect wedding? Like Derek promised he had money? Dad slammed his fist down. This ends now. Autumn, you'll fix this. Release the vendors from whatever hold you have over them. Stop messing with Derek's accounts. Or what? The question lingered in the air. You'll take away my inheritance? Cut me off? Newsflash, I built everything I have while you were busy cleaning up Lily's messes. I retorted. How dare you? No, I cut her off, my voice sharper. How dare you? 4 years, I've watched you cover up her lies, excuse her schemes, and enable her bad decisions. Well, I'm done. I'm done protecting her. Done protecting all of you. What are you saying? Dad's voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. I met his gaze. I'm saying your perfect daughter is a fraud. Her perfect fiancé is broke, and in about. I checked my watch. 3 hours. Everyone at the bridal shower will know it too. You wouldn't, Lily gasped. Try me, I said coolly. I grabbed my things. Oh, and Maya sends her regards. She's very interested in keeping certain financial records private. I wonder what she'll do when those go public. This isn't you, Mom pleaded. You're not this cruel. I paused at the door, then looked back. You're right. The cruel one was always Lily. I'm just better at it. Their voices followed me down the hallway, Lily's sobs, Dad's furious demands, Mom's protests, but for the first time in years, I didn't feel their weight. Sometimes burning bridges isn't about destruction, it's about lighting your path forward. My phone buzzed again. Ethan, everything's ready. Are you sure? I typed back one word, now. The dominoes were falling. All I had to do was watch. The engagement party glittered with false perfection. Mom had outdone herself, transforming the garden into a fairy tale setting, but it was easy to see the desperation lurking beneath the surface. I watched from the shadows as Lily worked the crowd, her smile a brittle mask. Last chance to back out, Sophia whispered beside me. I checked my phone. Ethan's message glowed, files uploaded, ready when you are. The microphone squealed as Derek took the stage, a champagne flute in hand. I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight, especially my beautiful fiancé's family who've welcomed me so warmly. Dad beamed. Mom dabbed at her eyes. I stepped forward, my thumb poised over my phone. To new beginnings, Derek continued, and to the incredible generosity of the Chen family. Speaking of generosity, I interrupted, my voice cutting into the tone. Why don't we talk about just how generous my family's been? The crowd parted, Lily's face revealed, her smile vanished. Autumn, Dad cried, his voice low. Not now, I said, my tone firm. Actually, now's perfect. I nodded to Sophia, who activated the projection screens in the garden. Everyone's here to celebrate, right? Let's celebrate the truth. The first document appeared, bank statements showing systematic theft from my business, followed by credit card statements in my name, signed by Lily. Finally, Derek's empty trust fund records and Maya's bankruptcy filings. Stop this. Maya stepped forward, but froze when her own financial records were projected. The crowd murmured, phones out, recording every word. You see, I said to the guests, this perfect couple built their fairy tale on fraud. Every vendor payment bounced, every account is empty, and the money they stole, that was mine. She's lying, Lily screamed, but her mascara was already running down her cheeks. Derek lunged toward the projection controls, but Ethan blocked his path. Touch it and the files go public. You're ruining everything, Mom sobbed. No, I corrected her, they did that themselves. I'm just showing everyone who they really are. The garden erupted in chaos, guests whispered and pointed, several prominent society members slipped away quietly, Derek's business partners huddled in corners, their faces dark with anger. I'll never forgive you for this, Lily snarled, grabbing my arm. Like I'll ever forgive you for stealing from me, for letting them favor you while I worked myself to the bone. Is this about childhood jealousy? My father's voice thundered. This is about accountability, I shot back, something none of you understand. Suddenly, Derek laughed, a sharp, ugly sound. You think you've won? Go ahead, tell them about the offshore accounts. Autumn, tell them where all their money really went. My blood ran cold. What? You're not the only one who can dig up secrets. He smirked, pulling out his phone. Remember that investment fund you managed last year? The one that mysteriously collapsed? The crowd turned, all eyes now on me. That's different, I stammered. I was protecting. Yourself? Derek sneered. Face it, you're just like us, maybe worse, at least we own it. Sophia grabbed my arm. We need to leave now. But I couldn't move. The faces around me blurred, accusations, disappointment, disgust. My phone buzzed relentlessly with messages from clients, board members, partners, all asking the same questions Derek had raised. You wanted the truth, Lily spat. Well, here it is. My perfect sister, the so-called successful businesswoman, is just another fraud. The projection screens flickered to black. In the silence that followed, I could hear my mother sobbing, see my father turn his back, and watch as everything I had built began to unravel. Autumn. Sophia pulled harder. The police are on their way, Maya called them. I let her guide me toward the exit, Derek's mocking laughter echoing in the background. My phone buzzed again, notifications of clients canceling, contracts under review, investigations being launched. In the car, Sophia broke the silence. What do we do now? I stared at my reflection in the window, barely recognizing the person staring back. My carefully planned revenge had backfired spectacularly. In trying to expose their lies, I'd exposed my own. Now, my laugh sounded hollow, even to me. Now we see who's better at surviving the fall, I muttered. My phone lit up with one final message from Ethan: there's something else you need to see about all of us. The night stretched ahead, dark, uncertain. I had wanted to tear apart my sister's perfect world, but maybe I'd torn apart my own instead. Sometimes revenge is like a boomerang, it always comes back to hurt you the most. Ethan's office felt like a graveyard at midnight, shadows filled the space, servers humming softly. The screens in front of us displayed transaction after transaction, a tangled web of financial deceit spanning years. It wasn't just Derek, Ethan whispered. Look. I saw my father's signature appear on document after document, then Maya's, my mother's, even Lily's teenage accounts showing suspicious patterns. They've been doing this for years, I whispered in disbelief. To everyone, including you, Sophia said quietly, touching my shoulder. Those lost investments Derek mentioned, they were gone long before your family took them. The door opened, and Maya stepped in, Derek following close behind. I wondered how long it would take you to find it, Maya said coolly. The family business, fraud, empire building. Derek's smile was sharp as a blade. Why do you think your father pushed you into finance? We needed someone clean, someone legitimate to hide behind. I finished. While you stole from everyone. We survived, Maya replied with a smirk. But you had to start digging, had to go after revenge. Where's Lily? I demanded. Safe, Derek said, his voice cold. Unlike you. Sophia tried to move toward the door, but Derek blocked her path. Nobody's leaving until we fix this. Fix what? I gestured to the screens. Your entire lives are built on theft, and yours isn't? Maya pulled out her phone. Shall we talk about what really happened to your mother's inheritance? The one you managed into oblivion? My hands balled into fists. That was different. Was it? Derek circled closer, his voice dripping with disdain. Face it, Autumn, you're just like us. The only difference is we embraced it. I'm nothing like you. Maya's smile was cold. Then why did you help us launder money through your company for years? Even if you didn't know it then, you know it now, and you're still here. The truth hit me like a punch. Every transaction I had processed, every account I had managed, I had been their unwitting accomplice. Here's what's going to happen, Derek said, his voice final. You'll sign these papers transferring your company to us. In return, we'll keep your involvement quiet. And if I refuse? Then we all go down together, he said with a chilling grin. Family style. My phone buzzed. Lily, don't trust them. Storage room, now. I need a minute, I said, my voice steady despite the storm in my chest. To do what? Maya stepped forward. Decide if I want to destroy my sister's life or save it. Derek and Maya exchanged a look. 5 minutes, Maya said coldly. Then we do this my way. I found Lily in the storage room, surrounded by boxes of files. They killed Dad's partner, she whispered urgently. 10 years ago, the accident wasn't an accident. My world tilted. What? I found the proof. She held up a flash drive. They're planning to do the same to you. Clean, legitimate, expendable. Why are you telling me this? Because I hate you, she said flatly, but I hate them more. They've controlled us our whole lives, playing us against each other, making us think we were choosing sides when they chose everything. Footsteps echoed in the hall. Lily pressed the drive into my hand. Whatever you do with this, she whispered, make it hurt. I slipped back into the office just as Derek's patience wore thin. Time's up, he sneered. What's it going to be? I looked at Maya, finally seeing her for who she really was. You know what your mistake was? Teaching us that family means loyalty. What are you? I hit send on my phone. Every screen in the office lit up, showing decades of evidence, not just financial fraud, but emails discussing the accident, planning for more, a dynasty built on destruction. You taught us too well. I spoke as sirens wailed in the distance, about survival, family, and revenge. Maya lunged for the computers, but Sophia stepped in her way. Derek reached for his phone, only to find it dead. What have you done? Maya murmured, her voice shaking. Exactly what you taught us to do, I said, smiling as federal agents flooded the building. I chose family. Amid the chaos, I caught Lily's gaze across the room. For the first time in years, we shared a look, not quite a smile, not quite forgiveness, but something that felt like understanding. Sometimes the best form of revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about becoming exactly what they made you and using it against them. The agents read rights, snapped handcuffs, and seized computers. In the midst of it all, two sisters stood apart, finally free from the shadows they'd been raised in. The courthouse steps felt colder than they should on a summer day. I watched as Maya and Derek were escorted away in handcuffs, their designer clothes traded for prison orange. My father had already been processed, and my mother was under house arrest. Lily stood to the side, her arms wrapped around herself. "The restitution papers are ready," Sophia said, holding out a folder. "Once you sign, the company's yours again." I took the folder but didn't open it. "And the victims?" "The FBI recovered most of the money. Your testimony sealed the deal." Reporters swarmed the courthouse steps, eager for another soundbite about the family that had defrauded Silicon Valley's elite. I turned away, locking eyes with Lily. She walked toward me. "I heard you refused immunity. It wasn't mine to take. But you could have walked away clean." "When were we ever clean?" The folder felt heavy in my hands. "They raised us to be weapons against each other. I'm done playing that game. So, what happens now?" Before I could respond, Ethan appeared with more paperwork. "They're ready for your statement about the partner's death." Lily flinched. I placed my hand on her arm, the first gentle touch between us in years. "Go. I'll take care of this." "Why?" Her voice cracked. "After everything?" "Because that's what they never understood. Real power isn't about controlling people, it's about choosing when to let go." She nodded once, then walked away. I watched her disappear into a waiting car, wondering if it was the last time I'd see my sister. "The press wants to know if you'll keep the company name," Sophia said. I handed her the folder, still unsigned. "Give it to the victims' fund." "All of it." "Autumn, I built it once. I can build it again." I turned to Ethan. "Unless that partnership offer is still on the table." He smiled. "Different name. Clean slate. That's what I want." I glanced back at the courthouse, at the reporters still circling like vultures. Something new. Something ours. The sun broke through the clouds, warming the cold stone steps. My phone buzzed, a message from my mother: "Please come home. We can fix this." I deleted it without responding. Some things couldn't be fixed. Some shouldn't be. "Ready?" Sophia asked. I took one last look at the courthouse, thinking about Maya's empire, Derek's schemes, and my parents' manipulation, those years of competing for love that was never real, fighting for approval that was always conditional. "You know what the strangest part is?" I said, as we walked away. "I thought revenge would feel like victory, but it just feels like freedom." Ethan opened the car door for me. "Where to?" I slid inside, leaving the courthouse, the cameras, and the weight of family expectations behind. The car pulled away from the curb. Through the rear window, I saw Lily watching from her car. She raised her hand, not quite a wave, not quite a goodbye. I raised mine in return. Sometimes, revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. Sometimes, it's about destroying the cage they built around you, even if you helped build it yourself. My phone buzzed again, a text from an unknown number: "You were right about everything. L." I smiled, thinking of the unsigned restitution papers and the fresh start ahead. The truth was, I hadn't won. None of us had. But maybe that was the point. The city stretched out before us, full of possibilities. Sophia was already sketching plans for the new company Ethan was proposing, markets we could explore. I let their voices wash over me, feeling lighter with every mile we drove. Revenge had brought me here, but now something else would drive me forward. Something that felt like hope. The car turned toward the future, leaving the shadows of the past behind, not forgotten, but finally powerless. My phone buzzed again, but I didn't look at it. Some things are better left unread. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.